In some scenarios within Invent, particularly when setting up variable logic, you will need to identify which frame on your artwork is being used. The default naming convention is a numerical ID number, which doesn't really make it easy to establish a connection between the ID and the frame it represents. So what we can do is rename the frame within InDesign, which is then also picked up by Invent. When creating variable logic, you may notice that the fields section is populated with quite unhelpful ID numbers for your dynamic frames. Now, what we actually want to do as part of this tutorial is rename those ID numbers so they actually have some relation to the frames that they represent. We start off here by going to the Layers tab within InDesign itself. So this is an InDesign feature rather than Invent, and it's this icon here. If you can't see that icon for whatever reason, then you can activate the Layers tab by going to the Window dropdown and then Layers. So by default, you'll see something like this. So you'll see your available layers, and that will be an initial drop-down list where you can then show the frames that are part of that layer, which in our case is all of the frames that are on our artwork. The next step is to identify the frame that we want to rename. The easiest way to do this, if you click on the frame, it will give you a little highlighted indication of which one is selected. Alternatively, you can hit the little visibility icon, and that will just show and hide the relevant frame so you can identify which one it is. Once you've identified the right frame, just slow double click on the name of the frame. That will give you the ability to rename it. So I'll go with title and email, for example, for this one. And then for this one, I'll go with logo. And then that's basically all you need to do. Now, when you go back to your variable logic, instead of seeing those ID numbers, you'll now see those renamed elements that you're now able to select between.